In the next few months, thousands of restaurants across the US are preparing to shut their doors forever. And we're not just talking about small-town diners. This wave is sweeping up major names, once iconic chains that defined American eating habits for decades. Red Lobster, Applebee's, even Salt Bay's gold-covered steak empire. These aren't just restaurants, they're crumbling symbols of a lifestyle that's slipping away. What we're witnessing isn't just financial trouble, it's a cultural shift. The way America eats, gathers, and connects is changing fast, and these restaurants are paying the price. If you think your favorite place for ribs or seafood is untouchable, you might want to think again. Let's dive into the biggest names that could disappear by 2025 and explore why their decline says more about America than just lost jobs or closed kitchens. Number 1, remember when Subway was the go-to for a fast, decent meal? It was the choice for busy workers, students, and anyone looking to avoid a greasy burger. But lately, it's barely hanging on. Subway has closed more than 4,000 locations in the past 5 years, and the number keeps shrinking every single month. Why the downfall? For starters, their healthy image is way out of date. Today's customers care about organic produce, real ingredients, and transparency. Meanwhile, Subway is still pushing limp lettuce and overprocessed meats. Add to that a tarnished reputation, from lawsuits over their bread to scandals that made national headlines. Public trust took a nosedive, and Subway never really recovered. Worse, competition is fierce. Newer sandwich shops like Jersey Mike's and Firehouse Subs are everything Subway isn't: modern, clean, and built for a generation that values experience over routine. Even after a 2023 buyout by Roark Capital, Subway still feels directionless. The founders are long gone, and what remains is a giant with no heartbeat, drifting, outdated, and slowly fading from memory. If you haven't walked into a Subway lately, you're not alone. Number 2, you've probably noticed it. The once buzzing Hooters locations now feel like ghost towns. The sign's still there, but the crowd is gone, and the concept? It's not aging well. Back in the day, Hooters was built on a very specific idea: sports, wings, and a waitstaff designed to catch attention. But what worked in 1995 feels tone-deaf in 2025. Society moved on, but Hooters didn't. Store closures are accelerating, with major locations in cities like Houston, San Diego, and Chicago shutting down for good. Why? Because younger diners don't want the old-school gimmick. A majority now say they're uncomfortable with the brand's outdated vibe. Add in subpar food, average reviews, and a total lack of reinvention, and you've got a brand stuck in time. Meanwhile, competitors like Twin Peaks are evolving. Better menus, modern interiors, and a vibe that feels more like a cool sports bar than a blast from the past. For younger generations, Hooters means nothing. It's not nostalgic, it's irrelevant. And without emotional connection or decent food, what's left? Number 3, for so many working-class families, Red Lobster wasn't just dinner. It was a celebration, a birthday, a graduation, we finally made it to Friday kind of treat. It was that rare place where luxury met affordability, where you could savor lobster without needing a black Amex. But now, the lights are dimming. Red Lobster is standing on shaky ground, and it's not just due to tough luck. This is a collapse years in the making, and the numbers paint a grim picture. In early 2024, the chain reported a staggering $33 million loss in just one quarter. That's not a stumble, that's freefall. The problems are stacking up fast. Seafood costs have soared, especially lobster and crab. Inflation's squeezing everything from wages to rent. And that famous endless shrimp deal? It's backfiring, costing more than it's bringing in. But the most painful truth? Their loyal customers, the heart of Red Lobster's success, are slowly disappearing. Some can no longer afford to dine out at all. Others are chasing fresher, trendier experiences. In today's dining scene, it's not enough to offer a familiar plate. You have to offer meaning, vibe, and authenticity. Red Lobster feels stuck in the past, while the world races ahead. From coast to coast, longtime locations are quietly closing. Empty booths, silent kitchens, places that once echoed with laughter now feel like museums of a better time. If Red Lobster goes under in 2025, it'll be more than just the end of a brand. It'll be another sign that the simple pleasures working Americans once counted on are slipping through their fingers. Number 4, let's be real. Applebee's was never about fancy cuisine. It was about comfort, familiar flavors, That reliable place where you could unwind with coworkers or split dessert with your best friend after a long day. It wasn't just a chain restaurant, it was a weekly. For starters, American eating habits have changed dramatically. Millennials and Gen Z, the core of today's dining public, aren't as hyped about deep-fried everything and bottomless beer. They're leaning toward fresh, healthy, and balanced. The greasy indulgence that made B-dubs famous, it's starting to feel a little outdated. Revenue has taken a hit too. Since 2018, Buffalo Wild Wings has seen a 15% dip in earnings, according to Statista. That's no small stumble, it's a warning sign. Consumers today want fast, clean food with clear nutritional value, and that's where brands like Chipotle and Panera are cleaning up. They offer flavorful, customizable meals that match the lifestyle of people who are always on the go, but still mindful of what they eat. And then there's the vibe, the loud TVs, the crowded tables, the all-out chaos on a Friday night. That used to be the appeal. Now, it's a turnoff for many. After a long workday, people aren't looking for noise. They're looking for chill. They want to catch up, not yell over the latest sports commentary. That once legendary game day energy is starting to feel exhausting instead of exciting. Then comes the price. B-dubs isn't exactly cheap. A dinner for two can easily hit $40, especially with drinks. Compare that to Wingstop or Zaxby's, where you can grab a meal for under $25. In today's economy, that difference matters. People are watching every dollar and value wins. Can Buffalo Wild Wings turn it around? Maybe, but only if it adapts fast. That means a smarter, more inclusive menu, healthier options, a more welcoming atmosphere, and prices that make sense for families, students, and everyday folks just looking to relax without draining their wallets. Because here's the truth. Buffalo Wild Wings isn't just losing customers to other restaurants, it's losing them to a new way of living, a culture that prizes balance, mindfulness, and meaningful connection over noise and nostalgia. And unless B-dubs finds a way to be part of that new story, it risks becoming just another piece of the past. Number 8, Taco Bell. Cheap, fast, and famously satisfying at 2 a.m. For years, it was the king of late-night cravings and budget-friendly bites. But today, the world it once dominated is changing fast. And Taco Bell is struggling to keep up. Let's be real, people still love a quick taco fix. But now, many of those same customers are asking tougher questions. What's actually in this? How many calories? Is it remotely healthy? And those aren't just niche concerns anymore. They're mainstream, especially among Gen Z and millennials. These younger diners are more conscious about what they eat than any generation before. They're scanning menus for fresh ingredients, plant-based options, and clean eating cues. That's made things tough for a brand built on crunchy shells, cheesy fillings, and indulgent combos. While Chipotle and Chick-fil-A are booming with fresh, made-to-order options, Taco Bell's growth is slowing down. In 2023, revenue only ticked up by 3%, a small bump in a market where competitors are sprinting ahead. Now, to its credit, Taco Bell has tried to pivot. There have been experiments with vegan items, gluten-free tweaks, and a few healthier options tossed in. But here's the catch. They haven't gone all in. The changes feel more like side notes than a bold rebrand. And in today's fast-paced food world, half measures don't cut it. Then there's the money problem. Taco Bell made its name on low prices, but rising food and labor costs are squeezing that model hard. When you're trying to keep tacos under $2 and prices are rising across the board, something's gotta give. Quality, portion size, or your profit margin. So what now? If Taco Bell wants to stay relevant, it needs more than gimmicks and limited-time menu drops. It needs a real reinvention. Meals that are fast, tasty, and healthy, without losing the brand's signature flair. That might mean reimagining the entire value menu, investing in fresh ingredients, or even redesigning the dining experience. Because let's face it, nostalgia will only carry you so far. And in a market where food is personal, fast, and driven by purpose, Taco Bell has to evolve, or risk becoming a relic of fast food's past. Number 10. Remember TGI Fridays. It used to be the ultimate weekend hangout spot. Casual dinners, oversized burgers, loaded potato skins, and those signature cocktails that signaled the weekend had officially begun. But today, things feel different. The question is, can TGI Fridays still keep up in a dining world that's flipped upside down? Founded back in 1965, TGI Fridays was once the definition of casual cool. Now, it's struggling to find its place. According to IBISWorld, revenue has dipped by over 4% in just the last year, while rivals like Applebee's and Chili's have at least managed to stay afloat. That's not just a blip. It's a sign that Fridays is fading from the spotlight. It's not like they haven't tried. Ritual for millions. But lately, that ritual is falling apart. In 2023 alone, Applebee's closed more than 40 locations. And with more closures already lined up for 2025, the future looks dim. The problem? Applebee's is stuck in the shrinking middle. These days, people are either saving money by cooking at home or going all out for special meals at high-end spots. Applebee's, with its frozen appetizers and predictable menu, just isn't cutting it anymore. Younger generations, especially millennials and Gen Z, aren't interested. They want food that's quick, cool, and worth posting on social media. They want customization, creativity, and character, things Applebee's hasn't delivered in years. And while the chain still has fans, most of them are aging out of the routine of dining out altogether. So when an Applebee's disappears, it's not just a building shutting down. It's a sign that the social glue that once connected neighborhoods, those cozy, casual places where anyone could feel welcome, is wearing thin. If Applebee's doesn't reinvent itself soon, it risks becoming nothing more than a nostalgia brand, remembered by a generation that's slowly moving on. Number 5. Salt Bae was never meant for the everyday diner. Let's be honest, most Americans were never going to step foot in one of his restaurants. Why? Because a single bite of his infamous gold-covered steak could set you back $500. A basic burger? Try $120. This wasn't dinner. It was performance art, dipped in salt and sprinkled with luxury. For a hot minute, Nusret, the restaurant empire behind the meme, was everywhere. Social media couldn't get enough of the man with the sunglasses and slow-motion salt sprinkle. Celebrities showed up in droves. Videos went viral. And suddenly, it felt like Salt Bae had unlocked the secret to culinary stardom. But then came the crash. By 2023, the magic had worn off. Reviews plummeted. Customers weren't impressed anymore. They were furious. They complained of outrageous prices, terrible service, and a vibe that felt more gimmick than gourmet. One viral review summed it up. Sky-high prices, rock-bottom service. In New York, Miami, and Vegas, foot traffic shrank. Revenue reportedly fell by as much as 40% at some locations. Layoffs followed, menus got slashed, the sparkle, gone. The real issue wasn't just the food or the flash, it was timing. When everyday Americans are skipping meals to make ends meet, a restaurant built entirely on luxury starts to feel like a slap in the face. Salt Bae wasn't offering an experience anymore. He was selling an illusion, and people stopped buying it. Sure, the brand might still shine in cities like Dubai or Istanbul, but here in the US, it's a different story. Nusret is fading fast, because once the glitter wears off, all that's left is overpriced steak on an empty plate. Number 6. The Cheesecake Factory. That giant menu. Those oversized portions. And of course, those decadent slices of cheesecake that felt like the reward for just surviving the week. It was big, bold, and a little over the top, in the best way. But now, that extravagance is starting to backfire. What used to feel like an affordable indulgence now feels like a serious splurge. A dinner for two? Easily $60 before you even think about dessert. In a time when gas, rent, and groceries are draining wallets, a meal this expensive isn't casual anymore. It's a financial decision. And customers have noticed. Between 2018 and 2023, foot traffic dropped more than 20%. Meanwhile, fast casual spots like Chipotle and Panera are thriving. They're quick, they're modern, they're cheaper. And that's exactly what today's diners want. But cost isn't the only problem. That famously massive menu, once a selling point, now just overwhelms people. Instead of exciting, it feels exhausting. Diners are craving simplicity and freshness, not 250 choices that feel the same. The decor, no longer a draw. While the Cheesecake Factory once stood out with its ornate design and upscale vibe, it's now competing with trendier, more intimate spots that serve creative dishes in Instagram-worthy spaces, all for less money. In short, the factory is starting to feel like a relic. It's trying to offer everything, but ends up delivering too much of nothing. And in a changing America, where people are counting every dollar, over-the-top dining without real value just doesn't hold up. To its credit, The Cheesecake Factory still has loyal fans, but loyalty won't be enough if the brand doesn't evolve. In the race toward affordable, fast, and meaningful meals, nostalgia is losing its power, and the clock is ticking. Number 7, there was a time when Buffalo Wild Wings, B-dubs as everyone called it, was the spot. Big game on the screen, cold beer in hand, friends around the table, and a pile of spicy wings to dive into. It wasn't just dinner, it was a ritual. But fast forward to 2025, and that once thriving hangout is fading from the spotlight. So what happened? They've refreshed their branding, rolled out deals, and launched new menu items. But here's the issue. The core of the brand still leans on heavy, calorie-dense comfort food that doesn't quite match what today's diners are looking for. Consumers are asking for balance, fresh, healthy, and flavorful. And Fridays is still doubling down on ribs, burgers, and fried everything. Meanwhile, new age chains like Sweetgreen, Cava, and Shake Shack are redefining what casual dining looks like. They offer health-conscious choices, sleek branding, and a modern vibe. TGI Fridays, by comparison, feels stuck in a different era, nostalgic but not necessarily relevant. And there's another mountain to climb: overhead costs. With so many brick-and-mortar locations, TGI Fridays is weighed down by massive operating expenses. Add in rising wages and ongoing inflation, and it's easy to see why the old-school sit-down model is struggling to survive in today's leaner, faster restaurant ecosystem. The truth? Fridays needs more than a new logo or seasonal menu. It needs a full-on identity shift. If it doesn't figure out how to connect with younger, more mindful customers, it risks becoming just another memory from the past. So what's next? From Salt Bay's restaurant troubles to TGI Fridays' identity crisis, these brands are at a crossroads. The ones that adapt, innovate, and truly understand what diners want will survive. The ones that don't, they'll fade into the background. What do you think? Are these chains headed for a comeback or the history books? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video if it got you thinking, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming content, packed with bold takes, surprising insights, and the truth behind your favorite brands.